Hello, episode 250. We've made a quarter of a millennium. How good's that? 250 shows without a break so far. Touch wood.
That deserves a round of applause.
I think it does. I thank you. And thank you,
Next
everyone.
time, say it correctly.
What?
You said
Oh.
millennium.
Millennium. I saw a video of me today on the internet, a machine of Bristronica, and maybe I'll dig it out later. But I pronounce a word really oddly. I pronounce it correctly, but I pronounce it in an accent, like in the middle of me. It was weird. I don't know what. I must have had a moment or something. Anyway, let's crack on with the show. Welcome to everyone. It is the ProSynth Network. We are live. It is the 17th of January 2025, and it is episode 250. We've got 8 more episodes to go until we reach our official 5th birthday, I believe. Is it 8? Yeah, it's 8. Yeah, because it's 8. Or is it? No, hang on a minute. 52 weeks in the year, but there's a leap year, isn't there? There was a leap year in there somewhere. I'll have to work it out, but we will be marking the occasion as per. So welcome to everyone that's in the chat. Hope you're all well and you've had a great week, or maybe if you haven't had a great week, I'm sorry, but maybe we can cheer you up and see you into the weekend in a lovely, lovely fashion. Before we do anything else, let's just get rid of the boring stuff and get that out of the way. As always, if you haven't already, give us a like. If you want to comment, you can do so in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube, where like 99% of people watch us from. You can do that there. You can also send us messages if you're watching on Facebook and on Twitch. Of course, we're across all of those platforms as well. So you can do that. If you want to subscribe, that would be really, really cool, especially on YouTube. Helps the algorithms. That helps us massage our way into people's feeds. And if you like this show and you think somebody else would like it and they don't already watch it, then please do share the link around. That would be fantastic if you could. You will find us, of course, across all of the social media platforms, the good ones anyway. Well, I say good. Facebook and Twitch, not Twitch, Threads are slowly becoming a bit more of a dumpster fire since their illustrious or not so illustrious leader made some comments the other day, but you know, it's kind of where we hang out most of the time. But we're on Blue Sky and we're also on Twitch and Instagram and TikTok as well, although the TikTok I think I might just bin that off. It's not for us, I don't think. But anyway, if you're on those platforms, you can use us, see us, interact with us if you like.
Use us
or use us, yeah, use us sparingly or otherwise. You can do that. If you want to support the channel, of course, you can do so in a number of ways, other than just turning up and saying hi and being involved. If you want to support us financially, because we are completely reliant on our members' donations, our viewers' donations, it helps pay all the bills and keeps us on the air so that we can blame you for all the things that we do. But you can do that in a number of ways. The first way, and probably the best way to do it, is on Patreon. So you go to patreon.com/ProSynth Network and you can commit to pay a minimum of $2 or more, but only a minimum of 2, and you can cancel at any time. So if you just want to do 1 month, that's fine. If you want to just let it go, that's even better. And what do we give you in exchange, other than a weekly show about synthesizers and music technology? We will also give you free stuff. So, for example, there are synthesizer patches for software synths and hardware synths. Too numerous to mention. Lots of them donated to us by the likes of James Dyson, Mark Barnes, and many others besides. There's also exclusive video content. For example, you can watch Andrew talk about the Sonicware ELZ1 Play. You can see an exclusive ad-free version of our interview with Alex Ball. All the Synthspirations videos are going up there one by one, so as they get released, they'll be on there. And there's going to be bonus Synthspirations content soon from the person who we're going to be seeing later on today. So you get a lot for your money. And we think you'll be satisfied. So there you go. That's the best way to do it. Of course, the other way to do it is YouTube channel members. Exactly the same deal. Minimum $2. You can be a channel member as long or as short as you like, and you will help us keep the channel on X. Ain't cheap, I'm afraid, these days. So they're the two main ways you can support us. Of course, the other way you can support us, in case you weren't already aware, is that we have a merchandise store. And you can buy all manner of stuff on the merch store, including, let's just bring this up here. Let's share this and put this on the screen. You can buy t-shirts in many colors with logos and what else have we got on there? We've got mugs and hoodies and beanie hats and backpacks and mouse mats and phone cases and polo shirts. I need to get myself a polo shirt because I think they look smart.
Does look good. Yeah.
I think they look good out on the exhibitions that we're doing. We're doing bucket hats, baseball caps, pin badges, stickers. If you want to adorn your synthesizers with stickers or your flight cases, there's the cartoon t-shirts, which are selling very well. The mugs as well. There's all sorts of stuff. So you can buy some of that stuff. And as you can see, everything has got 15% off right now until the end of the month. It's the January sale. You can grab as much as you like. Everything is 15% off, apart from the shipping, of course. We can't do that. Lots of good stuff on there. So lots of ways you can support us or not. You are not obliged to. You can just turn up every Friday, watch the show, and be done. And that's fine. We're happy with that because we do it for you. I think that's everything. Oh, and by the way, if you have a question during the show about anything that we're talking about, just stick a big capital Q in front of it, and it will help us pick it out from all the rest of the stuff that's going through there, and we can address it accordingly. Right. We've got lots of news this week, but before we get on to that news, we need to bring in to our... hang on a minute. Before I do anything...
What about our mods?
We'll talk about the mods in a minute.
Okay.
But I've got to say, sorry, but wow. Thank you, Mr. Wonderful Scott McCauley of Scott McCauley Sounds. That's incredible. Thank you very much. Is it really? Yeah, 10p for each of the shows. Look at that.
Why wasn't it a pound?
Don't push it. Don't push it. Don't push it. Scott McCauley, by the way, is not only a bloody nice geezer, but he also designs amazing sounds for synthesizers. His Polybrute banks, he's done 2 so far, and I'm cracking the whip for him to do a 3rd. They're that good. Seriously, I went back to the original presets of the Polybrute 12, and I thought they were really good when I first got the Polybrute 12. Now I've heard Scott's stuff, I'm like, they're that good. They really, really are. So thank you ever so much, Scott. I really do appreciate that, and we all do. This knobhead, look at him.
That's a penny for every one.
But it's a penny for every show. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew. And, of course, you can see a spanner by his name. It denotes that he's a complete tool.
Yeah.
Whereas with Andrew Brooks, it means that he's a moderator. And he's a lovely bloke. He's not a tool. Only at the weekends. But thank you ever so much, Andrew Brooks. And anyone that's in the chat, if you see somebody with a little spanner next to the name, they are our channel chat moderators. They keep you horrible lot in line, although it's a really easy job because you're all very, very nice. And so Andrew, and there's Andy Synth Addict, and there's Ben from Musings as well. All of those 3 lovely chaps in the chat do a sterling job. And they also throw all the links. Everything we talk about, they'll be putting the links in the chat for us so that you can bookmark them and go away and read them at your leisure. Finally, Matt, thank you ever so much. Bostic247, £2.50. That's a nice number today. I like that. So happy 250th. Thank you, and I hope to see you at Synth East in Norwich, which I got some more details today. We've got our table. We know exactly where we are. We're up against the wall. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a normal thing.
When they put us Italians up against walls, we get a little bit scared. There's no lampposts around, but that's fine. So, yes, we're up against the wall. Really looking forward to Synth East. It's going to be a great weekend. There's a film on the Friday night called B-Movie, Lust and Sound in West Berlin, 1979 to 1989. That's its full title. And it's a brilliant film. If you haven't got tickets for that already and you're coming down, get tickets now because it's stupidly good. And we're going to have Robin Vincent on the show at some point between now and Synth East. We're sorting that out. He's going to come on the show. He's going to tell us all about it and drum up the last few tickets and get those sold. And just nice to have Robin on the show because he's a top geezer. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. That's all of the donations and shout outs so far. We've mentioned the mods. One more shout out, and I just need to do this. So I indulged myself yesterday. There was a reason for indulging myself, and the reason was that I wanted to claw back some of my old 90s studio that I'd stupidly sold some years ago to fund the purchase of a drum kit. I've got my CS1X back. I've got some things turning up on Tuesday, hopefully. But the one thing I really, really, really wanted to get back was one of these, and I found this in superb condition. Look at that, baby. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. I sold my RM1X, and I regretted it the moment it left. I sold it to a friend, and I actually contacted that friend a couple of months later. I said, have you still got it? And he said, oh, no, I didn't really get on with it. I sold it on. And that was it. It was lost in the ether. Wouldn't it be nice if that was the one? I never kept records of my serial numbers back then. But I've got a big shout out to Adrian in Colchester, which is just down the road. We did a nice little deal. Went down to pick it up last night. He's a super, super nice guy. Professional musician, engineer, DJ. He's based out of the Colchester area. Really cool guy. Hopefully, he said he'll be tuning in to watch. Whether he's watching live or on catch-up, I don't know. But nice one, mate. Really, really enjoyed meeting you. And thank you for doing me the nice deal you did on that. And yeah, I'm a very happy man. Right, that's all the shout-outs. Now we shall get to my co-presenters, who I've neglected horribly. I've got to bring this guy in first because he actually turned up before 7 o'clock.
Bloody hell.
I wet the bed.
You wet the bed?
Yeah, so I had to turn up.
Is it to do with the lack of caffeine, maybe? You just got jitters and you just...
Well, no, not after yesterday, apparently.
Well, no, apparently not. Yeah.
No.
How are you, sir?
I am very, very tired.
Really?
Yeah, really exhausted. And I've been fighting a Mac Studio all day. To decide it didn't want to receive MIDI after doing an update. And I went, of all days. So I've been trying to get that all sorted out.
Jolly good.
Yeah, so we got there anyway.
Yeah, good. And you have had a busy week on the repair front?
Yeah, it's always busy, isn't it? But yeah, it's been a hard one. I'm looking forward to sitting down and vegging out tomorrow, watching rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I say watching, probably snoring.
Snoring. Until every time that lovely lady Fiona jumps up when somebody scores and then...
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole bloody place rattles when she does it. But, yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I have to be up for 10 anyway, because I've got a synchrotron tomorrow morning.
Oh, yes, of course.
And try and catch some brands as well. And, yeah, it's all been a bit... So... And I've been doing some electronic designing.
Oh.
You've also been doing some testing and gathering thoughts for something coming up later in the show, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah.
Before, I don't know why I don't do this every week, but in case you don't know, I mean, who doesn't know who Kent Spong is? But in case you don't know who Kent Spong is, he is the Kent Spong. I think he's the only Kent Spong.
The Kent Spong.
The Kent Spong of Kent Spong Restorations. He's a synth restorer. I'm sorry, mate. I'm going to decline all your cookies.
Yes, that's fine.
The only cookies I have at yours
cookies from myself, thank you.
Kent is probably one of the leading restorers, repairers of vintage analog and digital synthesizers and other music technology bits of gear. He's done work for many, including, of course, Hans Zimmer, Vangelis, and many others besides. All done with an incredible sense of humour and 5 dogs, no less. But you can go to, there you go, there's the classic. You can go to the website, and if you need something doing, you can get a quote from there. It's all the details are there.
Peter Capaldi's got nothing on me.
Talking of Peter Capaldi, I don't know if any of you saw my Facebook about an hour ago. Peter Capaldi, just last month, played live on stage with the Blow Monkeys and did a blinding cover of Driving Saturday by David Bowie.
No, I haven't seen that.
Go onto YouTube.
Yeah.
It's the guy, if he couldn't be more cool. He was the last great Doctor, and now he's on stage with his Fender Strat, playing with the Blow Monkeys, doing David Bowie's Driving Saturday. It's amazing. Really, it cheered my day right up. It's really, really good. So there you go. Kent Spong Restorations is where he's at. Of course, the other voice that you can hear in the background there is the one and only Andrew Longhurst, whose website, and maybe I should put that up as well. Should I do that? Would you like me to do that?
Don't mind. Put it up if you want.
Mamook.
Mamook.
Where is it? There it is. Bang! There it is. It's your story. Just add colour.
Yeah, just
Video
add colour.
production.
Just add colour.
And how do you just add colour? Well, you do this. Look at that. It's a really cool website, I have to say. I don't know who did that for you, but they probably deserved every penny you paid them. So it's a very nice
somebody
website.
spent more money than me.
Yeah.
I think, Ken, everyone spent more money than you, but yours works.
Andrew Longhurst has been in the industry longer than the industry's actually been around, allegedly.
Yeah.
Can't you tell? Look at the face. Jesus. Anyway, how are you, Mr. Longhurst?
It's been an odd week. It's been madly busy in some respects, and then I got a lurgy on Tuesday, which laid me out for the day. And then I went down to London yesterday and had all sorts of joyousness with trains, which was...
Oh, yes, I read your posts.
Yeah, now I know why I drive. But actually, it wasn't too bad. And I've come back today, I'm just feeling knackered again. But someone did give me, and I'm not going to demonstrate it, someone did give me this little beauty.
Oh, now you're holding it up to your face. I can see the eyes and the nose, and now I can kind of see what the design was.
It's called the Yorick. It's by the Bristol
Yorick,
Communal
of course.
Modular thingy, and it's called Yorick.
Yeah, I know it well.
And that you can actually plug it in with USB power output there, and it's a synth.
Stylophone. That's what it is.
It's a synth. And it's I
that's
think it's
very
50
cool.
quid.
It's cool.
But I just love the fact that someone, there's still people out there doing these small scale things. I think you can get all of the plans for this on GitHub, so you don't even have to, it's a good thing. And I love people making these kinds of things.
Nice.
So yeah, otherwise good.
Excellent.
Otherwise good.
Glad to hear it. I think we do need to just recognise the fact that unfortunately it started a little bit 2016 this year. We've had some very amazing people pass away. Joan Plowright today.
Yeah.
Not that many people, she's not obviously big in the music industry. She did some banging techno tracks back in the day. But the one that we need to recognise, I think, is David Lynch.
She was married to...
Not David Lynch.
Larry.
Yeah.
Larry, dear Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
So,
yes, of course she was.
Laurence Olivier.
Yes, Olivier.
yeah. So,
but we do need to recognise David Lynch, who passed away the other day. I would say he wasn't just a director of films; he was a true artist, but predominantly in the field of cinema. But he had a beautiful appreciation for music and cinema, and the one thing that I always remember when people talk about music and David Lynch is, and I posted this video clip, and you can just go and look for it in YouTube. Angelo Badalamenti, the great Italian-American composer and arranger, did work with the Pet Shop Boys, amongst many other people, of course. He wrote the music for Twin Peaks. And there's this clip on YouTube of him sat at a really beat-up Fender Rhodes and describes the moment that David Lynch pitched Twin Peaks to him and got him to play along to David's description. So David was describing the woods, and it was dark, and he was describing this woman. She was sad, and so he's playing, and it's just this beautiful tale of these two brilliant artists who fully appreciated each other's skills. And I didn't realise Steven Spielberg cast David Lynch in a recent film of his, The Fabelmans, as John Ford. So David Lynch played John Ford, the director.
That's right, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
I haven't seen the film, so now I really want to watch it. But yeah, Mulholland Drive is an absolute classic. Of course, Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, Eraserhead. I mean, just some amazing things. Yeah, and the original
so
June.
disturbing.
Yeah,
It's just weirdy, but clever man.
Some of the best directors are the ones that understand the power of music in cinema, and he so understood that.
I think all the best understand the power of music.
Absolutely.
All of them.
A real loss to the world. It's a real shame, but he wasn't well, and he hadn't been well for a while, and I hope he finds some peace now. But yeah, rest in peace, David Lynch. There you go. So let's move on to some happier stuff, shall we? Because we do have a bucket load of news, and we've just wasted 20 odd minutes. So we really need to get down. And you might actually, if I just do this, there we go. You might understand who this show is possibly dedicated to in terms of the total amount of news that we've got this week. They have a tendency to take a virtual dump of news and just throw a whole bunch of things. Now, we haven't included their brand new digital accordion in our roundup this week for obvious reasons. But they have just dropped a brand new digital accordion, and I'm sure if you are an accordionist, it might be... you
have to blow into it digitally. Yeah.
I honestly don't know how it works. I mean, do you have to do this? Why would you have to do that?
You probably don't have to do that. You just push the key.
But it's got the bellows.
Well, that's for
Is that just for
comfort?
show?
Yeah.
Has it got the aboves as well?
Maybe we should have covered it. I don't know. If we've got time, I'll dig it out. But there we go.
What, with
anyway,
a blanket and ignore it.
Dig it out.
Yeah,
Dig
indeed.
it out.
I don't really know where to start. I think we'll start with the big boys and we'll work our way down. I think.
Sorry, but can anything top a Korg digital accordion? Anything?
Well, a breeze block.
Angel Delight.
On top of it, yeah, Angel Delight, sawdust.
I'd much rather have a bowl of Angel Delight.
Yeah. Digital banjo.
Wow. Whatever next. And of course, they released some record decks as well today, which was just weird.
Oh yeah, that was very odd.
Korg are a great company. I love them, but they are a little bonkers, and I think that's why we love them. But anyway, let's start off with this little puppy. Oh, I say it's little. It's the new Kronos, or is it? Because I looked at this. I did a news article on this, and I just went through the press release and was like, okay, so it's got. I'm not 100% au fait with the Kronos range. I kind of know what it is, know what it does, but I didn't know whether this was a significant improvement or not. I spoke to our very, very good friend Simon Tucker, who is an expert on this, and he was, shall we say, quite disappointed because this is really, apparently, not a big push beyond the last Kronos. And in fact, I've come up with a theory, and my theory is this.
If you've got a theory...
I have a theory. It's about the Brontosaurus. No, I have this theory. Yeah. Shut up. Please, shut up. I have this theory. They've called this the Kronos, and they've not called this the Kronos 3, because this is essentially the third iteration. Because calling it the Kronos 3 would imply that it is new, that it is in some way significantly different from those that went before. And I'm being told repeatedly by lots of people that this isn't really that much different than before. This has, of course, the immense number of sound engines, loads more presets and programs and libraries included. It's got a lovely metal case with lovely black wood end cheeks. It's got a new and improved processor and a completely kind of rebuilt operating system that apparently guarantees a 60% faster startup than the previous versions, and the touch view screen is apparently quicker and sleeker. But other than that, it's essentially still just a bog standard Kronos. There's no polyphonic aftertouch, which I thought, given that Montage, particularly the M8X, had got it, you would have thought they might have stuck it on at least one of them, but no. So we've got the Kronos 88. There's also a 73 with a fully weighted hammer action keyboard, and then there's the 61 with the regular synth action. But yeah, price-wise, they're not awful. They're a lot cheaper than certainly the Kronos 88 is a lot cheaper than the M8X, but then the M8X is substantially more in certain areas. But the Kronos has got a good sound, it's got a good reputation, it's got a very good fan base, but I'm not too sure about this. The 73, there it is, and then we've also got the 61, and you can see the prices there as well. So the 61 starts at a fairly respectable 2649 UK, 2949 for the 73, and then just under 32 for the 88. So they're all of a fairly decent price, but maybe that's because they're not quite. And I just wonder, here's my theory, okay? I've already mentioned the theory about the naming. I think that the reason we haven't seen a Kronos for some while and why Korg haven't responded until now is that they probably had the same issue they had with the first iteration, or the Mark 1s, shall we call them, of the Wavestate, the Op6 synthesizers, where the parts that they were using for those became obsolete or very hard to get hold of, and so they had to redesign, and that's why we now have the Mark II wave states and the Mark II Op6s. I'm wondering if this fell foul of that, and that what this is a completely re-engineered Kronos to take advantage of the stuff they can get hold of now, and that we will see an official Kronos update, a proper big one, maybe in a couple of years' time. I don't know. Gentlemen, I've spoken enough. My mouth is as dry as a nun's doodah. Would anybody like to comment on this?
Ken, or would you like?
It is not Oasis 2.
It isn't.
And some of us are waiting for Oasis 2 because it was a stonking piece of kit. They robbed quite a few of the good bits out of it and shoved them in the Kronos. But the Kronos didn't seem to have the same magic that the Oasis had. So, yes, it's very, like you say, it's very possible. The processors or whatever have become obsolete, and the newer ones are available, and they're slightly configured differently. Blah 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 blah. Hence, why it's 50% quicker to fire up, and the screen isn't so choppy,
laggy. Yeah.
Yeah. Weirdly, the Oasis one wasn't. So, yeah. Personally, where's the Oasis 2, guys? And I want it with Poly AT, please. Or MPE, even. I don't give a monkeys. As long as it's got it.
It just, there's no MPE. It just feels to me like, they brought out the, what's it bloody called? The controller with polyphonic aftertouch.
Yeah,
key stage.
Another one.
The key stage. They can do it. So why not do it?
It almost feels like it's they're just concentrating with the Kronoses on just trying to chip away more of the Nord market.
Yeah.
And also for a stage keyboard, they are pretty substantial and pretty brilliant actually. But like everything else, if you're dragging an 88 note weighted bastard around with you, you should know about it.
Yeah.
So,
Ian Cole, our resident, I don't know, is he a former Korg distributor or a current one? But either way, he confirmed that it was chip shortages and that kind of thing. And Wagoo's just said in the chat that the original Kronos is used an Intel Atom processor. So I wonder if they've had such great success now with the Raspberry Pi based stuff that they've said, do you know what, we might as well use this in the workstations as well, because there's probably plenty of power there. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, I'm speculating. But it would kind of point to all of that stuff. I mean, you've both got Montage M8Xs, you lucky bastards. But Andrew, what do you think about this? Is this going to...
My bank account, you won't feel so lucky.
Well, yeah. Do you regret buying your Montage now that they've brought a new Kronos out, or not, maybe?
I looked at the original Kronos, Kronos 2, and to be entirely honest, I didn't quite like the sound of it. It just felt a little thin, a bit weedy or something. I wasn't quite sure. But it's a good machine. Looking at this one, I really am not seeing... So all the stuff you say makes sense, update the processors, do these things. So I think that if what this may be is something which might be able to have some firmware. The only thing which makes me wonder about that is they haven't really increased the memory that much.
No.
And so if, what I'm disappointed by at the moment is they didn't bring this out with the wave state, the multi-poly, all of that. They could have brought those out as well, but they'd have needed more processing power. I mean, maybe they've gone to a really, really quick processor or parallel processing or something, but as it stands, there's not a lot of room to do a lot with this particular version. They can certainly do some updates, but I think the most they've got in this is 256 new programs, and that's really it's faster to load, so you can turn it on with the expectation that it will actually finish booting within the same month. So but it's an odd thing. I've always wanted to love this, always, and I think what they did with it was really, really good and groundbreaking, but I don't see any advance here at all. So I think kind of you're right, Robbie. I think possibly there will be a new, either a Kronos 3 or a new something, and what they're doing at the moment is just saying, by the way, we're still here. Look at that. Stop.
You've done
it.
that again.
Stop it, you naughty thing. So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're saying, look, by the way, you can still get Kronoses. And maybe they'll do some firmware updates that will make you feel not quite so disobliged about getting it. But, you know, at £1,000 less than this, it's a hell of a machine.
Yeah.
Hell of a machine.
Yeah.
But
I just think they're just trying to re-establish themselves back in that market. So we've got our boy in the field now. So people, when they're looking to buy a workstation, aren't just going, well, you know, if they're looking for a top-end workstation, they're going to go Roland or they're going to go Yamaha. Now they can kind of, you know, consider Korg again. But I think the exciting stuff is going to be further down the line. This is just simply re-establishing them in this particular market, which you know kind of makes sense, I suppose.
I mean, it's a good thing, but they've got the same engines in there. There's nothing new in there.
No, there's nothing new and groundbreaking.
So,
it's only got 62 gigabytes of storage. I don't know what you got in the montage. Is it more than that?
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, you think nowadays, do
you know? I don't know.
No, I can't remember what the montage is. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, in the montage, I can't remember how much.
But you know, SSDs now are not terribly expensive, and you can probably put a gigabyte in. I mean, that would have been not a gigabyte, a terabyte. Sorry, you could put a terabyte in, and it wouldn't really desperately affect the price. But there you go. Anyway, so Korg are back with their flagship workstation. It's not a vast improvement over what's gone before, but they are back at least, and I do think it was to get round the
simply just a continuation of montage.
Yeah, let's just
of Kronos.
Kronos, yeah.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
It's not a 3. It's not a 3. It's
fingers crossed.
We
We'll see some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it may well be. You know, that they've now got by swapping out some of the parts, they've now got something which they can continue with, and that's good.
Yeah.
But it's not a 3. I think we may be seeing something new from them soon.
Indeed. Well, there was some more exciting news from Korg, and one of them was this. And this is, of course, the new Korg MiniKorg 700 SM, M being for mini, so it's a mini. I think we all saw this coming, but it's taken a while because the reissue, the FS, which stands for full size, that came out in 2021. I couldn't believe it was that long ago. So it's 3.5, nearly 4 years ago now that came out, and that was a lovely thing. It was a gorgeous thing, and I have a big soft spot for the 700S because it was the first proper synthesizer that I ever kind of stood in front of and got to know reasonably well until we split up and she left me. But no, it's a gorgeous thing. I love the sound of a 700S. It just does things to me. It just takes me way back. I love it. And this now is, of course, a smaller version. It's what did they say? 86% the size of the full size version. So I don't quite know how that works out, but it's nice. It's cute. It's got slim keys, not mini keys, and I think the only difference is that slim keys are longer and not necessarily wider, but they have a longer throw on the key. Let's just bring it up for you to look at. Here it is. Gorgeous. I just love the design. It's so of its time. Designed to sit on the top of something else, hence why the controls are all there. And they've just they've kept everything from the 700S. They've also made certain little changes and improvements as you can. So not only does this have MIDI, although it's only got MIDI in, not MIDI out, except on USB. So the the standard MIDI is just MIDI in, but USB does both directions. You've got preset storage, only 14, but you can store 14 presets within the memories. There's an arpeggiator in there. There's one of Kent's favourite spring reverbs, a genuine spring reverb tank inside there. A smaller one, of course, in this one that does sound ever so slightly different, but not so you'd really notice. Comes in custom soft bag and also comes with a replacement set of Traveller knobs. So if I just make this a little larger on the screen, anyone that's familiar with the 700S will know that the low and the high Traveller controls have these little notches. You can see them on there, these little pegs, so that they can't cross, because they found that if they were able to cross, it would just kind of cancel the sound out. So they put them in there so they wouldn't cross. But of course, people said, well, I wonder what it sounds like if they can cross.
If
and
they do cross, yeah.
They started to find new, different sounds that weren't necessarily always possible. Korg recognised this, so they give you a replacement set of caps that you can have with or without the pegs, which is very nice. What I like about this is all the buttons on that front panel work in the direction as an organ would, or a CS80, for example, because a lot of things were based on organs. They go from top to bottom rather than bottom to top, so things get bigger or louder the closer they get to the bottom. However, on the top surface, they work in the opposite direction, which is cool. Of course, it's got the second oscillator that the 700S had, which can be used as a regular oscillator, but can also be used as an LFO or a modulator. And you've got a joystick now, which of course you didn't have on the original, that allows for pitch bend and two-way modulation. So that's nice. It's a lovely thing. It comes in. It comes with a special soft gig bag. I don't know if we've got a picture of that here. That's the rear of the machine. No, there's no picture of that. But it's a very nice thing, and it's going to retail for around 1,100 and something odd UK pound. There you go, 1169. Nice little thing, and if this was sub 1,000, I would be seriously thinking about this. As it's just a little bit over, I'm going to have to sort of say maybe wait a little while. But a lovely, lovely thing. And so now we can have the MiniKorg 700 full size, the MiniKorg 700 SM. Of course, there's the MiniKorg 700S software plugin as well that you can have through Korg's collection. Thoughts on this, gentlemen?
It's a lot of money for. I mean, the 700S full size FS is what, 1,800 quid, 1,700 quid, something like that. This is almost 1,200 quid, so it'll be retail around, probably just over 1,000 or something once they've had the sort out. I mean, I know it's an analog thing. It's two oscillators. I love the sound of these. It's fully analog. Yep. It's fully analog, and I suppose that's what's costing the money. I just can't, if I was going to get one of these, I'd have to have the full size version. I'm not quite sure what I'd do with this, with those keys and these hands. But it's, it's nice they're bringing out analog stuff, and it's something other people are doing. Again, they're doing this weird stuff, and you go, why, what, why? But it's. I think I saw some posts when you posted up about this on the FaceTube channel. I think a couple of people said, why smaller? Why 86% of the size? And it is the mini. It is the small mini one. Yeah. But I'm not sure that. I don't quite get why. But it sounds amazing. It sounds great. I love the sound of these things, and they were so iconic in the day. Yeah. What about you, Ken? Did you ever like these?
Yeah, I used to have one.
Did you?
Yeah, and you do get interesting sounds with when you cross over the high and low pass. But what we used to do, because we had a brain, is you take them off and turn them upside down and put them on, and they pass each other perfectly. You don't need another set of bloody knobs. Christ's sake. Yes, so. It's kind of pricey, but not. It's not a bad price at all, really, I suppose. But they've made it 85. Was it 85%?
86.
86%. But it still
1% matters.
But it still uses the full size knobs on it, and controls, because you're not going to make 86% small.
I don't know. They're saying
there's space slightly.
They'll be the same. Don't worry.
Because
otherwise they'll have to make 86% smaller pots as well.
Yeah, true.
So. Yeah, so no, fine. I mean, I was just glad that these things came back because it means now I can get spares for the originals.
Yeah.
Which used to be rocking horse shite at the best of times. But anybody's ever taken one of these apart, oi, Jesus. I think it was designed by a spider. You need hands in all directions to hold bits, and taking it apart, it's a right old pain in the arm.
But wasn't it the first one of these kind of smaller analog monos that had high pass and low pass at the same time? Wasn't it the first one that did that? I'm just trying to remember.
I can't remember that.
Quite possible, because I mean,
didn't it? Because it
quite
came out
early.
It came out before the Odyssey, didn't it?
I believe it did. Yes, yes.
So the whole idea of high pass and low pass at the same time was.
I suppose you could say the 2500 had it, but then that's a completely different price bracket.
Yeah.
So,
but you could do the whole band pass thing, couldn't you? Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it's still a lovely sounding piece of kit. Yeah. It's still still relevant today, as it always was. It has those lovely iconic sounds.
Yeah.
And I suppose as it responds to MIDI, then you can sync it up to something else, and away you go. You've got that sound.
Indeed. I mean, I've got the plug-in, and I'm very happy with that. It's a lovely sound, and convenient. Doesn't take up any space, but I still would like one of these. I really would. We shall see. Anyway, Korg MiniKorg.
Buy Ian's one. He's selling his original.
Well, he's selling his original. I know.
There you go.
So many other things to buy. In fact, I bought something other than that RM1X. I bought something new today. It's kind of put the kibosh in any other sort of new purchases. More on that later. Maybe not today, but someday soon. But yeah, there you go. MiniKorg 700 SM is available to order now for $1,169.
And by the way, I love the little XY modulation,
the joystick.
Pitch bend. The joystick. I love that. I think that's a really good addition.
I think Ian's desperate to sell that, I bet you. I don't know what your interest rates are, though, mate. You're a bit of a loan shark. Eh? No, I cast aspersions on our lovely Ian Cole.
I'm trying to imagine him in a third suede coat.
Yeah. What geese?
What?
I can do you a good price, mate. You know what I mean?
I'll set me whippets on you.
Aye.
So that Korg didn't stop there. They haven't stopped there. In fact, their next thing that we should talk about again was kind of we saw it coming down the line. It was inevitable, but this is what's coming from them now. They've been busy. But again, we saw this coming because they did this with the Wave State, the Op6, and the Mod Wave, and now we have the multi-poly modules. So it's everything that was the multi-poly keyboard cut down into a 19-inch 4U rack mount unit. So everything you get on the keyboard is there, maybe slightly differently arranged, but it's the same thing. It is an incredibly powerful virtual analog synthesizer. I think, is it 32 virtual voice cards, 60-note polyphony. These virtual voice cards have each got their own oscillators, filters, envelope generators, and similar to the monopoly, of course, which is where it derives its name and color scheme. The monopoly, you could set each voice up slightly differently. And so you could then use that to some great effect. I mean, it really did. So they've kind of taken that concept and expanded it massively on this thing. But there's nothing new on this. It's just the same thing chucked into a small box that you can rack mount. Of course, Wagyu will be probably has one on order already because he likes his rack stuff, doesn't he, Wagyu? But it's got all the features. It's got the MIDI 2.0 property exchange, which of course means that if you hook it up to something like Korg's key stage controller, then the digital labeling above all the controls will automatically appear on the keyboard because the module sends all that information over to it. So it's very nice, and it has polyphonic aftertouch support in the module. So again, if you hook up a Korg key stage or any controller or keyboard that outputs poly aftertouch, you'll be able to exploit that within your performances and productions. It has many envelopes with curvature presets inspired by classic synths like the Monopoly, the MS-20, the ARP Odyssey, and Prophet 5. VCAs with characteristics modeled from things like the Monopoly, MS-20, Prophet 5, the Mini, the Odyssey, and many more besides. It's a stonkingly good synth, and very, very powerful too. And it has got my wallet starting to loosen a little bit. I think this, of all of them, I think this is the one that I would probably go for. But yeah, gentlemen, tempted by the module version of this, or because have you still got your mod wave, Kent, or did you get rid of that little 37?
I think it's over there.
It's over there.
I think it might be over there.
Bugger if I know where the power supply is. Yeah, I mean, see the Monopoly. I mean, now you're talking some serious history here.
Yeah.
I had mine 12 years. I loved my Monopoly. Of course, now there's a whole different beast altogether, obviously, but you know, it's lovely stuff. So yeah. I think when my bank account actually recovers from the from going through the barriers and bursting into flames, I might have to think about it for sure.
Yeah.
Although saying that, Mustang's going to have to come first. So.
Yeah.
But what sort of money were we talking?
This is just over 700 quid for the module.
Yeah.
About 800 something.
We'll see. I'm still getting.
There you go. Insta-buy from Wagyu.
Getting used to this lovely thing as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, maybe it's just a case of, whoa there, Spong. Enough, all right, for a little while.
Yeah, put the brakes on. Yeah. The one thing that's kind of dissuaded me from buying this version of it is that, I mean, I've got a rack over there, but I like to have, you know, something like this requires you to be kind of in front of it. And I don't want to keep going backwards and forwards. But my rack unit that's in my studio desk here is only 3U high. It's like 9U's worth of stuff, but it's only 3U high. And this wouldn't fit. And that would be a slightly disappointment. So I'd have to buy a new desk and everything. But you can freestand it if you want. You don't have to rack mount it, of course. Andrew, any thoughts on this?
This will come in retail probably eventually around about $650, even maybe slightly less. The Key Stage 61 is currently, you can get them for under 400 quid. So a pair of these together, sort of around about the same price as the 700 SM. Yeah, I've been thinking about this since I saw this, you know, launch, as it were, or since we saw this coming out. I've been thinking about how I could do essentially a Key Stage keyboard here with a 19-inch rack here, above it, into which I would put one of those, possibly one of the, you know, the command stations and something else. So 3 separate synths. It's a monster. I love it. It really reminds me in some ways of the Novation Supernova 2, but it definitely reminds me of the Monopoly, except that it's not limited by being a paraphonic instrument. It's fully polyphonic.
Yeah,
I love it. Of course I'm going to get one. It's just when.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It's a lovely thing. I think it's one of their best ones. However, of course, now we've got the module. We've also got the keyboard. Will they be bringing out the SE version with a full-size 61-note keyboard, and maybe that poly aftertouch keybed? That would be rather cool. But
it's the key stage. You see, the key stage gets you that and that.
Yeah, I know. But if they put key stage keybed into a multi-poly SE, kill two birds with one stone. However, you might not have to worry about that, because this is probably where I'll end up going. I can find the video. Where is it? There it is. No, it's not that one. Have I got a video for this?
Well, look, while you're looking for that,
Go on in.
Welcome back, Wookie.
Oh, is he in the
welcome
chat?
back, Wookie.
Welcome back, Wookie. There we go. Let's give him a...
Good to see you back.
Good to virtually see you again in the chat.
For those that aren't aware, our friend Wookie in the chat recently had a spell in the hospital. I won't go into details. That's entirely up to him if he wants to do that. But we're very glad to see him back.
Yeah.
Certainly in the chat. So good to see you, mate. Well done. Welcome back. Hope all is going well. So as I was saying, you don't have to go for the module, or you don't have to go for the 37-note keyboard, because what you could do is go for the software.
Oh, hello.
Yes, they have released, or will be releasing this. I think I spoke to Dan Phillips, the head of R&D at Korg, just the other day, and he said pre-release versions are going out for final testing in the next few weeks, and then this should be available from the Korg shop at the end of February. So you're looking at the end of February for this. But this is, again, it's the full multi-poly experience, but in a software plugin. And if you own the multi-poly and you would like to have the software to use as a programmer stroke librarian thing, you will get this at just $49.99. Otherwise, I'm afraid it is Korg's rather expensive pricing. This will retail for $199.99, which is an awful lot of. Yeah, it's an awful
that's
lot
a shame.
Of
I would have expected. I'm disappointed when I saw that pricing. I was disappointed that they don't just include a copy of this if you buy the hardware. That's
like Yamaha did.
Yeah, exactly like Yamaha did.
Or like Arturia did.
Yes,
exactly. So that would seem a sensible way to do this. But that said, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But do I really have to pay another 49 quid if I buy the
mind you, if it sounds stunning,
it sounds.
It's going to be tough dog poo, isn't it?
Korg do like 2 or 3 sort of pretty big 50% off sales during the year, so it might be worth hanging around if you want to do that. But so we're now going to get the software version of this, so it will join the Wave State, the Op6, and the Mod Wave that have all also got their software versions.
Maybe play the waiting game.
Yes. But
I remember when we reviewed the keyboard version of this, we were just blown away with it. And I'm not sure, did it win or did it not win our award?
It did. The Mod Wave keyboard won our under £1,500 keyboard or synthesizer of the year last year, and they were very, very happy. I spoke to Korg and gave them the news. I don't know if they put it on their website yet, but I gave them the news and the award images and stuff, and they were incredibly happy. Yeah,
good. So they do this thing, don't they, where they release some things that you just go meh, and other things where I've got to have this in my life. This is got to
like
have
Raz in the chat says, they do that though, don't they?
They do that, don't they?
They do that though.
Yeah, but no, the multi-poly is definitely one of their big hits. It sounds great, and is a really, really clever piece of engineering. In terms
Has anyone
of
in the chat bought one yet?
Don't
multi-poly?
Know. Trying to think who I know has got a multi-poly. I don't know. But anyway,
I know it's been they released it at an odd time when no one's got any money and it was coming up towards Christmas and blah blah blah. So I'm not sure if anyone has
Scott
yet.
Did,
but
apparently.
Scott
well done.
Well, of course he would. Yeah,
it's already nailed to his wall.
It's the multi-poly, not the mod wave one.
Nailed to his stand that almost fell down last night. Yeah. Anyway,
as Mr. Wagoo points out, they won the award for the multi-poly, not the mod wave.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Yeah,
That's what you meant.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Too many M's, too many Korgs. Anyway, talking of too many, have we done? We've done the Kronos, we've done both the multi-polys, and we've done all.
And the 700S.
Yeah, we just haven't done the accordion.
I'd love to have the accordion. I'd love to see.
Let's have a look at the Korg accordion. Just for shizzles and giggles. It's the Fisa Suprema is the name. Here you go. This is what it is. In case you're wondering, this is a digital accordion, and yes, look, it has bellows and everything. I don't know if there's a video. Oh, there is a video. Shall we?
Does it have MPE?
Go on.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's enough of that. But yeah, I mean, look, it's got a digital screen, and he is pumping those bellows. So I guess there must be some sort of expression control in there. I've never really explored it. But
do you know what I really want now?
You want an accordion, don't you?
No, I want a cornetto.
Cornetto.
I want an Nespresso.
Our friend Dave Bristow. Do you remember when he was on the show?
Yeah.
He's taken up the accordion.
Is he?
I'll ping him this.
I'll
see if he's interested. Yeah, he's probably not.
Yeah.
But
I got nowhere to park it.
I wonder if Weird Al Yankovic has got one of these, because he's a legendary accordion player. That's how he started, wasn't it?
I must point out that if that's digital, they've nailed the sound.
It's not difficult, is it?
Oh, yes, it is.
Is it?
Actually, yeah.
I suppose with all the expression, yeah.
You consider all the accordion patches you've ever come across on the keyboard, it won't sound like an accordion. Not right
I'll
across
be
the
honest,
spectrum.
They're not the patches I gravitate to, and in most of the synthesizers I have, there isn't an accordion patch.
Oh, when I found my accordion patch on my M8X, I went and got my beret and everything. It's like, I'm going to enjoy this.
Scott says the Polybrute does a great accordion. Does it? I haven't. Conrad wants to know how much it is. Really, Conrad? Really? You want to know how much this? Okay, let's find out.
Is it more expensive than an ironing board?
Let's see. Are they leaving one of those things where they leave the price right to the end? No. It doesn't say. It says buy.
I bet it's about 2K or something stupid like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's
I wouldn't be
that.
surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was double that.
Really? Okay.
Do you know it doesn't actually say.
Click the buy, find out what it does.
No, I did.
Yeah, buy one.
I clicked the button and it took me to this other page. And unlike the synthesizers where it says it, I'm still waiting for our resident Korg dealer who should know this stuff off the top of his head. What's it called? The Fisa Supreme, which does sound like a type of cornetto, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
What's it called?
You want nut with that, huh?
I watched the entire Godfather trilogy over the last couple of weeks. And you do sort of come away. Okay, Ken. All right. Okay, I've got a price.
5K?
Keep going.
What?
You're joking.
7.5.
I've just seen it. Jesus.
What is it?
Starts at £6,749. The top of the range one is 6,999.
And there's us bitching about the price of keyboards.
$7,000 for a digital accordion.
7,099 on Thomann.
Look at that. That's euros, though, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's pounds.
That's pounds.
Pounds. That's pounds.
Yeah, you better have poly aftertouch.
It better do a lot more than that.
And a D-beam.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what part of your body you have to use because your hands are tied up.
Dear, oh dear.
Wow.
But it's conveniently nearby.
Well, but they are extraordinary instruments. Whether or not, and most don't like them. It's a bit like the bagpipes or Marmite thing. You either love them or hate them. I love bagpipes, as it happens. They're actually really difficult to build and to make really good ones.
Oh, yeah, no.
Very, very difficult. And I think Kent's right. It's actually really hard to emulate them well.
It is actually, yeah.
Well,
so there's certain
£7,000
frequencies
hard,
that react differently and stuff like that as you go up the scales. But my God, I had no idea.
There you go.
Had no
So
idea.
if anybody ever complains...
It's a lot of money for something you can get a cover in lighter fluid set
So you can literally get... You can either buy this digital accordion or this M8X with £2,000 change.
I know, right?
Have you got it? Have
Okay.
you got it up there?
But,
The
you know,
accordion patch.
how much does an acoustic, a really good quality acoustic accordion cost? $7,000 for a digital one might be a bargain.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know my great uncle had one. It was all it had this pearl inlay and all this business and brass and stuff all over it, and it cost a pretty penny, if I remember rightly.
Yes,
It's quite possible.
Anyway, there we go. I'm glad we went to have a look because it's certainly given us something to think about.
I wasn't thinking 7K
No,
at all.
no, that is
And it
rather...
starts at, you say?
6749 is where it starts. I don't know what different models and what the differences are, but
88 note.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Anyway,
Comes with its own
It's
Hoover.
showing up on mine.
what's that?
I can't find it. It's here somewhere. I know it is, but
Yeah, there is.
Anyway,
Yeah, some of the classifications are a little bit...
weird.
Yeah.
Weirdy words.
Anyway,
but yeah,
let's have a brief interlude from our Korg related friends, and let's go back to our guest from last week. Was of course the wonderful, the delightful, and delectable Dina Perlman, who is of course the daughter of Alan R. Perlman, the founder of ARP. And she runs the foundation in his name. And she has announced today the details of her Tech Tracks panel, which is going to be taking place at NAMM next week. That panel will include no less. Let's see. Let's bring up the names here. It is Mark Isham, Cynthia Malaran, Michael Stein, him of Stranger Things fame, and of course our friend, your friend too, the wonderful Anthony Marinelli. And I think it's amazing that those people are still going, given what has been going on in that part of the world. Anaheim is safe. It's got the all clear to go ahead for this. So, yeah. And it's going to be moderated by DJ Cherish the Love, who's a great friend of Dina's and the ARP Foundation as well. And the session is going to be called Behind the Screen, ARP Synthesizer's Impact on Sound Design in Film, TV, gaming, and more. And anybody that knows anything about ARP synthesizers and films knows that they were behind some of the most famous sounds, including R2-D2 and, of course, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and many others besides. And they'll be talking about that. And, of course, Anthony comes from a very specific place on that because he is a film score composer, arranger, and performer, and used many of his synthesizers on many of his scores, including the wonderful War Games. But yeah, so the announcement came out today, and the event will be taking place at NAMM on January the 23rd. That's the Thursday. It's next Thursday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Ballroom B at the Hilton, Anaheim. Go along and have a listen, and go and listen to some amazingly intelligent and learned people about this wonderful range of instruments and how it impacted the music in films and beyond. So there we go. Hope that's ticked the boxes. I don't know who's. I mean, I still want to go to NAMM. I know that a lot of people I speak to say, "Oh, you don't want to go to NAMM. It's not very nice. It's just too busy. It's too noisy, and you don't really."
It's smaller this year. It's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
the guitarist people, there was a video earlier, they said that they will have their guitars there, but they won't be on display, hanging on up on or anything like that. They're all going to be in cases and sort of like on wheels, so they're taking it seriously.
Okay.
Oh.
From what I'm hearing.
I spoke to the guitar writer over at Gear News, who's based in the UK, and he was saying apparently Fender and Gibson aren't even showing. All they've got is some little side rooms where you make an appointment, and the press go in, and you get your half an hour with the marketing people. They'll show you some stuff, but they're apparently not going to have anything on the floor, which interesting. I mean, given that NAMM kind of became more and more a music tech thing, with synthesizers and stuff, and then seemed to kind of start to go back the other way again, and now the guitarists are, I don't know. I think maybe it's just too much, and maybe they need to.
Yeah.
Well, NAMM's always a good. NAMM is a good show to go to, though. It just
sure
is. I've always loved going to NAMM, and Anaheim is a great place to go.
One day we'll save.
Well, a quick shout out to Mr. Wisdom 666, whose Hydrosynth LEDs are flickering. Get that checked out, mate. It sounds like your power supply is getting ready to pack up.
Whoop.
So get it sorted out before the power supply packs up. Because it may pack up as in doesn't fire up one morning, or it may pack up as in caps popping and smoke and crap.
Ken Flux Pierce is in the chat. Of course, representative for Ash and Sound Machines. Talking of Ash and Sound Machines, I want to put this out here because I had Glenn Darcy contact me personally last week and said, here is the truth about Leviasynth. The synthesizer-related internet lost its collective tushy when somebody somewhere discovered that ASM had registered a name called Leviasynth, which I think is a rather clever, cool name for a synthesizer. Everybody said, oh, at last, it's a new synthesizer from ASM, only for them to be shot down in flames when the CEO of said company, Glenn Darcy, responded and said, the synth community rumour mill is pretty funny. We registered a couple of names we thought we might use on future things. Of course, the internet being the internet, nothing turns into something, and then the feedback loop grows. He went on to say that when you come up with a name you really like, you protect it, even if you don't have a product coming out with that name. So many names are already protected or used in other related products that naming is sometimes the hardest part of development in a lot of ways. So they basically said, we've come up with a cool name. We'd maybe like to use that. Before we do, let's get this thing registered and make sure that we can use it in the future if we need to use it. So that's all it was. It was just good business, I suppose. So nothing to see here. Move along. It's all good. Hopefully, but hopefully we'll see something coming from ASM soon. But Glenn assured me that there will be nothing at NAMM. Now, unless he was telling me porky pies, don't expect to see anything new at NAMM from ASM. He didn't say beyond that. So who knows? They might show up at Super Booth with something really cool. But there will be nothing new. And I'm sure...
just securing a name.
Yeah, exactly.
And as Kosh says here, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. And sometimes the name, I know this from working with manufacturers for years, sometimes the name gives you essentially a vision of something, and then you work out if you can do it and what you want to do with it. The names are really important, so you don't necessarily want to use it. And it may be you come up with a name and you go, oh, this is great. And then you work out further down the road, whatever your vision was isn't going to work, and it would be silly to put something else out instead. So,
Nice one, Steve. So the Leviathan includes a huge feedback loop.
Yes, FM.
Yeah.
There we go.
Very good. Very good. So, yeah, calm down, stand down. Everything's cool
Calm down.
for now.
Calm
There's calm
down.
Nothing yet. But, hey, when the Leviathan does show up, just the very name conjures up, something rather special. So I'm sure it will be, given ASM's record. So we shall see.
Accordion?
As Ken said, it could
ASM accordion.
Always get the band name first. That's true. Always. I remember in 1970, me and my mates decided we were going to put a band together and we were going to call ourselves the Crusaders, completely unaware that there was already a band from many years before called the Crusaders. And as soon as we found that out, I think I looked in my Guinness book of British hit singles and found the Crusaders. And I'm like, no! And we pretty much gave up on the band at that point because that was the name we wanted and we couldn't have it.
Should have picked something else like, I don't know, Commodores.
Gutted. Commodores, yeah, I know.
I had the Rolling Beatles. I don't know if that was...
The Rolling Beatles.
Does that count? I don't know.
Let's just say some thank yous here. Thank you to Steve, a.k.a. Xorb, for $4.99. Sorry to mess with the OCD. iPhones don't do rounding up. Happy 250th. Thank you very much indeed. Also, $4.99 US from our wonderful friend, Mr. David Surchek, a.k.a. Ace of Stripe. Go and listen to his music on Bandcamp.
David.
Rather brilliant. My partner in crime at our live shows, Peter James Stephen. Thank you very much indeed for your money. Some tour beer money, absolutely.
Pounds.
We will definitely drink some of that. Studio 8FX, $5. Happy 250. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
And our wonderful friend Robert Fatdusk Hecksch. I hope I pronounced that. I always would. Sonicware Side Drums is what I expected from ASM ever since they spit out the Hydra. Come on, ASM. There you go. He's given us £5. I'll say it again. Come on, ASM. Sonicware Side Drums. Looking forward to getting my hands on one of those soon. Anyway, there we go. That's all of the things up to date there. We've taken a little break. We've done the Leviathan synth. Let's just also do, because we've got a slightly big thing coming up in just a moment. For those of you who indulged in the Yamaha Seek track, and I haven't yet, but we're going to actually be at Synth East. We're going to be next to PMT, the retailer. Not a bunch of women with axes and very angry. We're going to be next to their stand, and they generally are doing it with Yamaha. So hopefully Steve from Yamaha will be there, and he'll have a seat track, and then maybe get a chance to properly play with one. However, the reason I'm blethering on about the seat track is that they've just released a version 1.2 firmware. There's no real video for this because the only video they've released is a 7 or 8 minute long instructional video that doesn't sound like AI, but it's like it was scripted by AI and then just read by a cheesy voiceover actor. It's a little bit disturbing. Go watch it and make your own mind up. But yeah, 1.2 has added a bunch of functionality. So there's a sampler loop mode, which expands sample playback from one-shots to loops. You can set loop points and adjust the length of the loops. You can mute and unmute individual sample slots, a new mute mode for smoothly muting and unmuting tracks, counting recording, and a new way to change octaves in keyboard mode, amongst other changes and bug fixes. It's a really cool little thing. It's 250 quid, and lots of people are really, really liking this. So,
and they've done the work on the app with this, so that you can drag in, import and export MIDI files, which is a really that was really good to do. Yeah.
So, if you've got a seat track and you haven't already, you can go and get your update. 1.2 is free of charge to all seat track owners. Right. So we've done all the Korg stuff. We've done Dina's ARP thing. We've spoken about that, and that leaves us with, what's the time? 8:15. I think we should move on to this thing. Let me play the video first, and I can get everything set up. Here we go. And we spoke about this, I think, last week or the week before. Actually, no, it might have been a few weeks before, because they kind of teased us with it just before Christmas. But it is now out, and it is from Zils Lab. I'm told that is the correct way of pronouncing it. Zils Lab. This is the 80.
Introducing the 80 by Zils Lab, a masterpiece that captures the soul of this iconic instrument and redefines it for today's creators. The 80 isn't just an emulation, it's a celebration, a perfect balance of analog authenticity and cutting-edge enhancements, faithful to the original, enhanced for the future. The 80 takes performance to new heights, with zero delay filters and no oversampling, delivering the warmth and purity of analog sound without compromise. From Vangelis's sweeping cinematic scores to Stevie Wonder's soulful melodies, the CS80 defined an era.
Okay, I'm stopping it there because they said Vangelis.
Vangelis.
Okay, anyway. It's a long video. I was going to stop it anyway. But Vangelis, come on,
AI.
people.
That will make sense.
Sorry, what, where?
Saying Vangelis will make sense.
Yes.
Shortly.
Okay, so where do we start? The CS80 has this reputation, and it's, in the main, justifiable. It is an exquisitely built synthesizer, albeit, complex, as the man to my right on screen will attest. It's also been for many years the holy grail of kind of analog synthesizers to be done in digital form, and I believe were Arturia the first to do a software version with the CS80?
No.
Was there somebody before
Moon did
then?
one.
Was that before Arturia? Because the original CS80 Arturia one was quite some years ago. I don't know. But it could be. Yeah, the Moon one's
one
been around.
goes back donkeys.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there were one or two, and now it seems that everybody wants to have a crack at the CS80. And some, as we have heard on this show, haven't got it quite right. Others are not so bad. So it's always interesting to have another alternative and an option. And Zils Lab have got a heck of a reputation for building really, really good quality digital versions of analog synthesizers. They've done the 505, they've done the Synth, they've done their own the Poly KB, and others besides. What's the one I've got? Chaos, which is the GS1 clone that then goes way beyond GS1. So it's a very powerful, if somewhat head scratchy, to kind of use it properly. I need to spend some time with it. Anyway, I'm rambling. They've now got the 80, and the 80's unique selling point in terms of what Zils Lab are saying is that it has 3 layers, not 2, because the original, of course, had 2 layers. So they've added a 3rd layer, and they reckon they've captured it pretty damn well. Now, I got to play with this, and I unfortunately very quickly found a bug, and it's been acknowledged by the developer, and they are going to fix it within the next day or so. But we found this bug, but other than that, I've been playing around with it, and it sounds lovely. But I don't have the qualifications, nor does Andrew. There's only one person on this screen that has the qualifications to speak with authority on the CS80 and its clones. So I tasked this man. I got him a copy, gave it to him. I said, right, you sit down, you go through it, and you tell me exactly what you think. And I've been getting notes during the week. And so I am sitting here eagerly awaiting the verdict. And I'm sure, because I spoke to Xavier, who is the developer at Zils Labs, and I said, we're going to be talking about it. So hopefully, Xavier, if you're listening, hi, well done. Congratulations on the release. Ken is now about to give you his opinions. And I think you might be pleasantly surprised in many ways. But let's see. Let's full screen the gentleman. Kent.
Oh, God, really?
Tell us what you think.
Right. Okay, yes. All right, there is the bug in the presets, as you say. But it is but a little adjustment, and that will put that right.
Exactly.
The general sound of it is very good. Again, if we were to compare them between, we've got 3 main players now. We've got Cherry Audio's GX80. We have Arturia's version, CS80 version 4.
Yep.
And now we have the Zils one. Now, it's weird. They all sound like CS80s. But they all sound completely different from each other. And this is because each variant gets certain parts of the 80 dead right. And then other bits, not so right. So with this particular one, the Guitar 1 and 2, as we've pointed out before, uses all of the aspects of the controls on the front panel. The other ones only use parts. So the kicker is getting Guitar 1 and 2 to sound right. Unfortunately, that's where the bug is. Yeah. But it's easily adjusted. You just adjust the after level and you're fine. And it's very good. I mean, very, you know.
Can I just say, sorry. Yeah. Because we had a play with I actually bought the soft tube one, didn't I? And when I played you the guitar patches, even I could tell they weren't anything like the guitar patches on and so that's where I went first with this one. And apart from that tiny bug, which, as you say, once you adjust it, it's fine. This really does sound very good.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's a few bits and pieces that will need to be addressed on it to make it, because I'd like this to be perfect if humanly possible, and you know, not sort of like unobtainably perfect, but better. And one of the things I'd like it to do is to have the LFO speed control work the right way round. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because it works better front. But then the aftertouch brightness and levels in the control section also work backwards, which isn't ideal. The ribbon controller doesn't go down to inaudible.
Right.
It just octaves. And so there's lots of little things like that, but it doesn't actually spoil your enjoyment of using the software. And the sounds are very good. If you were buying this and you know, all you've got as reference is, you know, hearing Vangelis playing his 80 or Steve Porcaro or whatever, and you got those sounds. These sounds that you would create on the front panel are obtainable.
Yeah.
If you're going to be using the presets, and I know Vangelis used the presets a lot and featured them quite heavily in all the stuff he did, but all the presets are not quite there. But they're not quite there on the Arturia one. They're not quite there on the Cherry one either.
And do you say that is the case because the hardware version they've probably based this on hasn't been properly calibrated?
Yeah. They should have sent it to me first, get it sorted out, and then model it. And I don't say that in a big-headed way. It's just that so many techs make the same mistakes because there are mistakes in the manual.
Yeah.
On how to calibrate the 80. And it was I had a lovely long conversation many years ago with one of the developers of the CS80, and I was like frantically writing down notes while I was talking to him.
And also, didn't you collaborate or work with Dusty Miller as well, who gave you a lot of pointers?
Yeah. I mean, Dusty was Mr. CS80 at Yamaha. I mean, he was the go-to guy, and he taught me buckets about the girl. So, and of course, over the years, it's accumulated as much information as possible, and then physically working on them.
Yeah,
you just get to know them to the point where I can play a couple of keys and go, yeah, I know which chords it's got a problem. So it's always quite jarring for me when I try out a new one, and you sort of like you'd be playing away and go, oh, here and there, or oh, that's not bad. I would say generally all round the Zils one is very good. We can get a couple of updates on it to make it better. I mean, I can suggest what it needs, and of course, it's up to Matey Boy whether he can, if he wants to do that or can do that to it.
We were talking earlier, weren't we, Ken, about the the whole thing with the CS80, because I got one very early on. I rented one and I got to know it pretty well, and it was a different beastie to anything else. And one of the things which, we both said about all the software ones that we've tried is exactly what you said, which is they're good in some areas, worse in others. Yeah. What seems to be the case with this one is it's really close, but it just needs, it's sort of 95% there. But possibly what it needs is just a little fine tuning, and some of the presets actually just redoing so they really sound. Because to my ears, when I listening to the demos where they do the original and then their version of it, they weren't the same. But even the original sounds from the original CS80 didn't sound like some of the the CS80s I've played. So I think it's got a really good chance. I think you're right. I think with a little bit of help, they can get this bloody close. They can get it really bloody close. What do you think?
I think they can. I think all the elements are there. I'm not saying that the Zils is better than Arturias and better than Cherries, because they all get much more authenticity, but in different areas. And it'd be just nice to have, just one did it all, to whichever went for it. And seeing as the Zils one's still, shall we say, infant and only just out, that'd be the one to do it. So, yeah, pretty much as you say, it's just nailing those things. I mean, the Zils one does the chorus better. It's more authentic chorus sound on it than the other two. Things like that. The other things, the little bugs where certain sliders work back to front. It's just stuff like that. But I mean, it's really.
That's really good.
It's all right. It's right. It keeps making the right kind of Now, admittedly, that isn't the preset. That's adjustments I've made to the front panel. So,
but it sounds.
But like we said, if I was to redo the presets, and then send him the patches, and then maybe he could just put them under the buttons.
The thing is, you've restored. Of the 800 CS80s that are out there, you've restored or repaired 600 of them, right? So you know this stuff. Yeah. So I hope they will actually take you up on this, because it sounds, of all the ones I've heard out there, I don't think anyone else has got the guitar patches right. And this is the closest to sounding like the guitars are right, because they're using everything on the front panel.
But it's like all these things. Like, for instance, if I select cold here, select brass 1 and 2, right? We'll just make a few adjustments here to the preset. So. And you go, yeah, that sounds absolutely fine. Right, now. Going through the same reverb, mind, and you think,
there's a little fizziness in there in the hardware.
It's very there.
I'd say it's like 98%. There's a kind of a high-end fizziness on the hardware that isn't there in the software.
Well, you could try just pulling some of that out, because it is a little high, as you say. But like I say, the initial and after brightness and amplitude levels controls aren't right. So what you should be able to do is, when you push down, that should get louder. But what you should do is that.
Yeah.
And it's all it's doing is bringing in the VCO on the aftertouch. So it's little things like that. but it has all the potential of being absolutely stonking.
I think all the raw ingredients are definitely there in the right measures, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So there was a... Wait a minute, I'll just have a quick butcher's here to see if I can find the patch itself. Where is it?
Whilst you're doing that, Ken, a question for you. What do you make of the fact that they've added a third layer?
Well, this is the interesting thing. The third layer, it gives it this extra dimension, and starts making it more than the sum of its parts, for sure, and gives you more things you can do simultaneously than you could do on an original 80. So this helps no end, and all right, it's not cheap in plug-in standards.
Well, introductory offer is €79, so get in now.
Oh yeah,
That's
get
not
in
bad.
now.
And I think, given what you've just said, that like all the ingredients are there and probably in the right amounts, it just needs those little tweaking. Get on board now, because this should get a few little tweaks to get it there, and you might just have the very best 80 plug-in that there is.
I think the other thing which is really good about it is that they've not gone down the oversampling route, which I think I think he mentioned in the chat here that what that does is it unties a huge amount of CPU usage. It makes it much more efficient, which is something that others don't do as well. They are very heavy on the CPU usage. So that can only be a good thing. That can only be a good thing. So I think they're doing. I think this sounds like it's going to be a good one to follow, and I'm going to be.
Well, I did.
Do you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Well, I've nearly finished the. There was a brass patch that I did for it, which is this now. But it's relatively quiet, I admit, but I keep them quiet until I get them right. Thing. And it's much closer.
It is much.
And with a bit more messing
tweaking
around, I'll get it closer and closer and closer and closer until I nail the little bugger.
And that's the thing with the front panel on these. It is the tiniest incremental amounts on several different controls that really make a huge difference. You think it's not much, but those tiny little adjustments make a massive difference to the sound.
Well, I mean, the fact that there is a plugin that sounds like that, even as it is now, it's sort of like, because I mean, like I've got to keep in mind, yes, I'm getting Vangelis's CS80 from Nemo at some point. In the meantime, this will be buggering off.
Yeah.
In 12 weeks, I think she's off. Bye-bye. And there'll be a big hole there. And this will help fill that hole.
Yeah.
Sure. But as a full-on 80 freak, I'd still be using the Cherry, and I'll still be using the Arturia for the things that they've got better.
Yeah.
And between the three of them, I've got an 80.
Yeah.
Still, even when there's a big space there. So it's really good. I know it's, the guy's just got it out, and there's me going, look, can you do this to it and get this right and do that and everything else? He's barely got it out the door. But as soon as these various little things are sorted.
All credit to Xavier. When I emailed him straight away on the day of release, and I said, I found this thing. Can you just confirm that? Because I think it's a bug. And basically, and I'm sure what it is that second layer on that particular preset patch, which was Guitar 2, was just whacked right up in terms of volume level. It was stupid. I mean, it just peaked. Everything went red. And as Kent said, all you got to do is just dial a single setting back, and it's exactly where it should be. So it's not even a bug of the software. It's just a bug of the preset just being saved incorrectly.
It could be simply corrected by anybody who bought the software if it hadn't been the button, because you can't save to the button.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you can't save a patch on here.
But the really good news is it's the first of the software emulations, to my ear, where the guitar patches sound, the two guitars sound like the original. They really do, and that's that iconic sound. Absolutely iconic.
People have been trying to do the CS80 right, and look, like any analog hardware synth, no two CS80s, even when they've been tuned by that guy, are going to be identical because it's impossible. So each developer will be going off of at least one CS80 unit that they're trying to model, and if that CS80 isn't quite right, it's going to sound different. But also, it's just going to sound different anyway, even if it's been calibrated. So as long as you're able to just dial those little things in to your taste, it's getting the basis. And I think this is no disrespect to the others, which are all very good, but this really does have everything there for it to become, one of the leading ones for sure.
Yeah.
When Kent and I were talking about this earlier, one of the things that we both sort of said, I think, was the other thing that's really interesting and unique about the CS80 as opposed to anything else is all the performance controls also matter hugely to this. So for everyone that's got one, those performance controls, you can dial up the sound, but you got to have those just set just right. And this seems to be much more, I know there's some things the wrong way round, and I know you've sent a list of things on, but those are incidental almost. You can swap round the orientation of the throw of the slider, etc. You might have to do some work on the graphics, but it makes a big difference, and this does seem to be closer out of the gate to having all of that. It's really close. It's really close.
We've had Kent pass comment on CS80 V4, GX80, Softtube 77, and others. And I think this is the one where, whilst you're not going, oh my god, this is it, this is the definitive, this is the one where you've been least negative.
No, what it is, I'm keeping the reserve because it has the potential to be the best one.
Yes.
Right across the board.
Yeah.
And, there will be people who love the sound of the 80, wouldn't have to go and spend 55 grand on one, and the repair, the constant repair bills that come with it. I mean, even tonight, when I was going to do this review, one of the VCO, the M boards, went out of tune, and I had to do a full tune of it.
Jeez.
At the last minute, about 6:30.
Wow.
It'd been fine. It's been fine for months, and then it just went. Oh, do you know what? I'm just going to go over here for a minute. And
it knows you're talking about
exactly. Gets all upset,
spitting its dummy out.
Yeah.
I just want to go to the comments because we've had a load of comments and a few questions. So let's see. You already sold one apparently on your. Just when you played that guitar patch, somebody popped up and said, "That's it, I bought it." Pete James Stevens says, "I now have all three." Great review. Ali Cassidy, welcome.
Can I just point in then? Now you've got it. When you select guitar 1 and 2 on layer 2, it's the very, very end slider, the grey end slider, which is the aftertouch level. Just bring that right down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to lose the paper out of your cones.
Hopefully, in a day or so they'll be fixed. Ali Cassidy is in the house, another legendary synth repairer and restorer who I'm not sure if I can mention what she fixed yesterday, but she sent me a picture a while back of a synthesizer, by the way. She sent me a picture and I was like, oh my God. And she's like, yeah, I know, right? And I'm going to have to fix this. And she fixed it within about 45 minutes. But yeah, maybe we need to get Ali back on because Ali's incredible. And we need her to tell us the story of that particular synthesizer. It's very, very cool. But she's not worthy, apparently, but I think she is.
Oh God,
most definitely.
She's worthy.
Brilliant. Tech.
Steve says, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Steve says one day somebody will have the good sense to employ Kent to consult during the development.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Couldn't agree more. You know, literally the world's
Absolutely.
leading authority on how these blooming things work and how they're supposed to sound. And nobody's yet had the decency to phone him up and say, would you mind? Because I'm sure he wouldn't. So
I wouldn't mind at all. No.
absolutely. What else have we got?
Several people have mentioned.
Interesting.
Go on.
Steve says, would Kent rate the VSTs in order of best to worst as Cherry Audio, Arturia, and Zils, or would you put those? It's not fair to put them in order, is it?
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Not on a public forum.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
And
I love
also-
the Cherry guys. I love Arturia stuff, and I don't.
Bottom line
Also,
is
each of them
there's a
has
CS
different things they're bringing to it. So with the Cherry, they've got the GX1 components, and that adds something else again. So don't and it is down to it's down to personal taste as much as anything else.
There's a CS80 clone for everyone.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
everybody.
if you're after the ring mod, I'd lean more towards the Arturia. So it's
Talking of ring mods, how does the ring mod compare to other CS80 plugins? Asks Steve Elbows.
well. This is another area that needs to be addressed. There are certain characteristics within the ring mod, very subtle, that are not present on all three of them,
Okay.
actually. But with a bit of, poking with a stick, we could get them right. And because the Zils one is sort of like early stages, and there is going to be an update for it at some point, even just to put the bug right.
Yeah.
That's the one to focus on, because there's so much more of it is actually
Already
on the money already.
Yeah, and currently in dev still. Yeah, they will still be working that. So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? There'll be an update to V Collection at some point. Who knows? They might have tweaked their one. We don't know. We shall see. It'll be interesting. It's an interesting thing that we can look forward to. Azio concurs that they should have hired Kent as a consultant. I agree completely. John Carter in the chat. I think John was the one that actually bought the plugin based off of your very short demo. Is the Hydrosynth considered to be a good controller for a CS80 plugin? I'd say probably.
I'd say yes, but then any MPE controller is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And it's down to personal taste. Actually, I would love to get the Roly to do it, but I'm having trouble with Roly communicating through Cubase at the moment, and I don't know why, but I'm working on it. But there again, let's not dispel the Hydrosynth. The Hydrosynth does a fantastic CS80 brass. It's really lovely.
But it's just like it does some. It doesn't.
But it does
not a
that.
Yeah.
Really
It does,
beautifully.
it does the classic, that classic tone.
I've tried doing guitar 1 and 2 on the Hydro, putting a patch together, and it's like it's not easy.
And I've tried the same thing with the ANX engine.
Yeah.
And it's it is so complicated, so complicated.
I agree with Yannisetta. I think GeForce should get in touch.
Well, I mean, I was talking to Dave, and I even did some CS80-ish like patches for OBE, because OBE had the testicles to do the sounds.
Yeah.
And you
it was
did
just
the
a matter of
brass,
going in
didn't
there.
you? You did the brass, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a nice chat with Dave today. Doing well, and I'm not going to make any promises, but we might see him around.
Oh, okay. Okay. No.
Anyway,
when he's ready. When he's ready.
yeah, exactly. Just drop that
When
one.
he's ready.
Let's see what else we've got. So Manny wants to know, when can we expect the KSR hardware controller for CS80 plugins? Probably about the 12th of Never.
I'm not going down that road again. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I was 30
Been there,
grand
done
in
that.
debt at the end of that bloody last controller.
Well, crowdfund it. There you go. Set up a crowdfund.
I really feel uncomfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Would you believe?
Yeah. No. I can
No, I
imagine
get it
that.
completely.
Sean, who did a wonderful Synthspirations for us a few weeks back with his OMD, who wants to know, price differences apart, would you prefer a software emulation to the Deckard's Dream hardware recreation from Black Corporation?
Yes. I've repaired a couple of Deckard Dreams, and on going through them, found them to be on par with the plugins, because even the Deckard's Dreams haven't got everything right either.
No, true.
So I think the thing about the software, because they're all relatively cheap, as opposed to the Deckard's Dream, which is quite a few quid, and these are 2 kidneys and a leg.
That's just lifting up the stairs.
Exactly. You can try out all 3, and you can find which one,
Yeah, absolutely.
gives you the stiffy, basically.
With the Zils Lab one, there is a license-free demo that you can download and play around with that. You can also request a time-limited full license just by clicking on the links. But, of course, the plugin's available in all good plugin stores. I think I got mine from Thomann because they were doing for like 60-something quid. Which was nice, but there are others. Yes, we do have a Synthspirations coming up very shortly because we are running out of time. But I really wanted to spend time on this because I think it deserved it. Before we do the Synthspirations, I do need to say a big thank you to Manny Fernandez, Dr. Manny Fernandez, no less. Get a job. He's telling this in his lunch break. But thank you very much indeed, Manny. Good to see you. Can't wait to see you later on this year as well. Steve the Bastard in Australia, over in Melbourne. Thank you very much for your $20.
Steve, we need a conversation. I've got some news for you. Let's
been chatting with Steve this week. Yeah. He's helped me out greatly again. Bless him. Love the guy. Wagyu sent us 10 of his Swiss chuffs over. Thank you very much indeed, Wagyu. Save that money because you need to buy your multi-poly rack unit. We mentioned it before. The beautiful Alison Cassidy has donated $9.99. We love Ali. Come back on the show soon. But she's at work today, so couldn't do that. Simon, great batch, 20 quid. Thank you so much. Happy 250th. Thank you very much for that. And John Carr says this is for Kent, $9.99. It all goes into my account, mate. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but we'll make sure he gets something.
Okay.
Thank you for all of those wonderful, wonderful donations.
Can I just make a point here?
Yes, please.
It isn't just iLock, though, is it? On the Zils, there was other alternatives, wasn't there?
No, if you look at the list, there's an iLock version. Yeah. That's the full version. You have to have an iLock, whether it's a USB stick or just the software account. You do have to have iLock. The license-free demo version doesn't require anything, but yeah, they protect through iLock, so they will validate your account. So right, okay. Synthspirations. If you haven't seen this show for a little while and you don't know what Synthspirations are, this is what they are. We want to know what music inspired you to make music with synthesizers. Be it an album, single, or an entire artist's body of work, we want you to tell us why it inspired you, and given that we're a synth show, which instruments used on that album really made an impact. All you need to do is film yourself talking about your synthspiration for a few minutes and we'll feature it on the show and discuss it. Send your video clips along with your name or handle to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com using a file sharing service like WeTransfer, and you could feature on a ProSynth Network live show soon. That guy was right. You can. All you got to do a Synthspirations video is film yourself talking about the album, the single, the artist that inspired you to make music with electronic instruments such as synthesizers, because that's why we're here. So if you have a story to tell, and it can go on for a little while, or it can just be a brief thing, you can talk to camera, or you can do as some of our others have done, you can dress up in funny costumes, you can do vocoder introductions, you can even do audio montages. We've had all sorts of things, and we love the variety and the ingenuity of our viewers. Just film something and tell us what it was that inspired you. Please don't play the actual music because that'll get us copyright strike. We don't want one of those. So please don't play the actual music, but just tell us, show us the vinyl, show us the CD or the cassette or whatever it was that you got inspired by, and we'd love to hear it. this week we're bringing it all in-house. Because this week's Synthspirations is from Mr. Longhurst. And Andrew tells me, in his letter to me, he says, "Dear Rob, here, please find enclosed my Synthspirations. More will follow, but I only want you to share those with our Patreon members." So you'll get more because basically, Andy, and I'm feeling the same.
He gets his tits out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does it naked. There's too many. There's just too many. So anyway, this is the abridged version, should we say?
The abridged and the seminal version, the starting point, but the whole journey goes on. So we'll get 6 more going up in Patreon, but this is the absolute start.
This is the beginning. Here we go.
So here we are, post-Christmas, just before New Year, with a very stripped-back room. Well, not stripped back, just not lit. Everything's still here, but it's a slightly rawer look than perhaps you're used to seeing. And this is my Synthspiration. In fact, I'm going to be doing a series of 6 more, which we'll put on Patreon, which describe more completely my journey into electronic music and why I love it so much. But this is the start of it, and it sets a trend that has lasted through to the present day. In 1969, when I was 11 years old, yes, I'm that old, the Beatles bought out Abbey Road. Abbey Road was a brilliant album for all sorts of reasons. You know, it was very popular, very poppy, very memorable. But more importantly, it was the first time I had heard a Moog synthesizer being used on anything, a synthesizer of anything, in any sort of music, really. It may not have been the first. I certainly hadn't heard Walter Carlos, Wendy Now, but this was the first time I heard it, and it was astonishing. It blew my mind. Late in the recording process, George Harrison had already bought very recently, a large Moog modular with 2 keyboards, and he brought it into the sessions very late on, and they started adding it to a few tracks. So they added it to Maxwell's Silver Hammer, I Want You, Here Comes the Sun, and Because. And in each of those tracks, it doesn't always feature a lot, and in some more than others, but it is very memorable when it comes in because it's a new texture. This was a band who used real instruments, played them themselves. There wasn't a huge amount of effects added to anything. Reverbs and delays were used really sparingly. But they use this. They use the Moog, sometimes multi-tracking it, to add these new textures into these songs. And it made my ears prick up. Having been brought up listening to classical music with all the stories and arrangements and instrumentation explained by my mum to me when I was very little, I wasn't trained. I never learned to play anything. But I knew enough about it to go, what the blimmin' heck's that? And it reminded me so much of those orchestral textures in places. The first time I heard portmanteau on a synth, ever. And it was just glorious. And I went, what the blimmin' heck? And more importantly, every time it comes in, every time you hear one of the Moog lines, or multiples of them where they've multi-tracked them, they sit ridiculously comfortably. They add something to it that wouldn't otherwise be there, but they don't stand out like a sore thumb. It blended so well with the real instruments, and that's something which, in a very long and circular journey, I've gone through from this, working with real instruments as well as synths, through to all electronic and through to the other end, where now, what I like most of all is mixing electronic music or electronic sounds with real players, because they bring something that's unique, and so does synthesis. So Abbey Road changed my life, and it's stayed with me ever since, even before I really knew I wanted to do anything with music. And I just loved it, and it made a massive impression. And as soon as I started hearing some of the other things which you'll hear in the extended series, you'll see why it stuck with me, and how that journey started, and what the path of that circular is, as it were. So that's my Synthspiration, Abbey Road by the Beatles. If you haven't listened to it, go and get a copy or listen to it online. It is astonishing. It's really quite astonishing. And I bid you a happy 2025. Bye.
and he's still there. Look at that. He's changed clothes instantly.
Yep.
Brilliant, Andrew. Thank you ever so much for that. I have to say, I was not aware until it was some years ago, but certainly at the time when I first heard Abbey Road, and I heard it at a very tender age of maybe 2 or 3 years old, because I was born just as the Beatles broke up. I didn't know that there was a Moog synth. I didn't know what a Moog synthesizer was for many years.
Yeah.
But then I had a revelation, and this will probably come out in my inspirations, about an artist or group, shall we say, who used a Moog modular. And I just thought it was an incredible sound, but I had no idea it was a synthesizer until much later on. But I won't spoil the surprise. But brilliant. Well done. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all you've got to do, if you want to do one of those, as I said, all you've got to do is film yourself. Can be with your mobile phone. If you've got wonderful camera equipment, use that as well. Or if you don't want to be on camera, just do a visual collage or whatever. However you want to do it. And the more ingenious and original ways of doing it, the better, because we love that kind of thing. And all you got to do is film it and send that to me at prosynthnetwork@gmail.com. Email won't probably take the file size, so use a file transfer service like WeTransfer or something like that. Send me the link so I can download it, or stick it up in your cloud somewhere and I can pick it up from there, and then we will feature it on the show. So please do send. I've had some people contact me this week who've said they're going to be doing something, so I'm looking forward very much to seeing what they do. And that's all you got to do. Right, we've only got a couple of minutes left. I think we've pretty much covered everything apart from one thing. Here is Scott McCauley Sounds, or Scott McCauley of Scott McCauley Sounds, doing an accordion on an Arturia Polybrute 12. Let me just bring the volume up here just to prove that it can be done. See, it can be done on one of the best analog synthesizers ever made. There you go. Fantastic. Thank you for sending that in, Scott. If you want those sounds, they're available on his website right now. The link is in the video there. Orano. Has it got anything to do with Vic Reeves? I want to know. Orano. Orano.co.uk or synthsounds.co.uk. But there you go. You can get his
must get him for this girl.
There. Yes, you. Didn't we send you some? I thought we sent some too. What? We'll have a word with Scott. Yes, this. Have a listen to this. We've only got a couple of minutes, but I'm sorry. If Marilyn and Lamont and Lamar, who are waiting to come on air after we finish to do their daily show, and it's the popcorn show today, so people send in their music for everyone to listen to. I forgot this. This is completely free of charge. And, well, have a look. I'm going to stop it there because we are running very short on time. This is a plugin. Oh, I've still got Scott's things on. Let me just bring this in instead. This is a plugin, and it's free of charge. It's available on GitHub. Let me just put the link in the chat. If I don't know if the guys have already done that, but I'll do that now. Let's have a quick look. No, so I'll do that again first. This is called RD Piano, and as you see there, it's accurately emulating the SA Synthesis digital pianos featured in such instruments as the Roland MKS-20, the RD-1000, the Rhodes MK80 electric piano and others besides. That's the front end to it right there. It's brilliant. It's really, really, good. I mean, it's kind of a one-trick pony, but it's a free one-trick pony.
I bought the RD1000 when it came out, and I loved the sound of it. It's been, it's been used on everything. This is really, really, really on it. I love this. And it's free. I mean, is there a way of donating on this or not?
I
don't know.
No.
But never mind. But it's
I'll have a look.
This is really close. It's really close. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And up until the other day,
I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it because I get customers come to the door with said unit, and I don't have the heart to tell them it actually costs more for me to take the lid off it than what it's worth.
Yeah.
And we go, oh yeah, but I really love this
Wasn't
piano.
Elton John a big user?
He used that. Elton John hired my RD1000, took it to Australia. When it came back, the keyboard was completely knackered, and I had to have it rebushed. It had to be redone. But I love the sound of it. I've used it on so many things. It's a really, really good electric piano. Piano/electric piano. Brilliant thing.
Did it have a Durex rammed into the memory card slot?
That was me. Oh, oh, right, okay. That as well.
Well, this is a revelation, and thank you, Ben, for actually doing the investigative work. The same person behind the RD piano there has also done a GS1 emulator.
Wow.
Well, that's come out 8 months too late.
I don't know how far along the line it is or how good it is, but we will definitely have a look at that post-show for sure. Thank you very much for that.
The guy I sent the data to.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could very well be. So we've done all of that. I just need to very quickly, I don't need to, I'd just like to very quickly mention that our friends at Symptoms of Reality, who are waiting very patiently for us to finish, have invited me, bizarrely, onto their show this Sunday at 7 p.m. UK time, because apparently they want to interview me.
Oh, more tits out.
Yeah. So anyway, and that apparently is me. They asked me what my kind of spirit animal was, and I said, well, I have an affinity with cats, big and small, and they've made me into a lion.
Wow.
I didn't want to give them the kind of the traditional animals that we have back home in Italy, in our part of Italy, which are basically marmots and ibex. So goats with big horns and things that pop out of holes, dark brown holes, and go, Alan! So that'll do. I'll be over there if you want to hear me talk more, which a lot of you apparently don't. So anyway, I'll be there. Catch me live or not.
I'll be there. Yeah,
I'm sure you will. And be prepared to ask questions. Let's see. I think we've pretty much covered everything. We have indeed. I keep thinking there's something at the back of my head saying I've forgotten something, but I can't remember what it was. Other than thank you very much indeed, Jason Crouch. For your donation of $4.99, nice. 250 more, please. Yeah, well, that would take us to it's basically 5 years almost. So this will take us to 2030. Wow. At which point, no, I won't be close to retiring yet. I'll feel close to retiring. But...
I should be in the ground by then. Come on.
Yeah, and Sean, Kissing the Machine. Thank you very much indeed for your £5. Thank you to everyone that has donated, that has commented. That has bought merchandise. In fact, somebody bought some merchandise whilst we were on air. I will send you, as I always do, to everyone that buys merchandise, whether you like it or you don't. I send you a personal thank you video message. There's an incentive for you. It's our very own Matt Evans has. He's beaten me to it. He's bought the blue and polo shirt. Swan. I wanted to get one of those, but he's taken advantage of the January sale, so it's cost him a lot less. And you can do the same over at our merchandise store, which is online and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, where you can buy all sorts of shoddy merchandise with our name on it. There it is. We've got the very special. Where are they? The Justin Have You vest tops, named in honour of our wonderful friend Justin, who wears nothing but vest tops. In fact, I think he wears a vest top the right way up on his chest, and then he turns them around and wears them as pants.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I had vest tops.
Didn't he say he had something like 160 of them?
It's ridiculous. He's got more vest tops and he's got keyboards, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
We love Justin. I know he's been in the chat. I don't know if he does a lot of teaching as well. Don't forget to go to NAMM if you're in the neck of the woods. Go and say hi to all of our lovely friends, including Dina, who's there, and friends from all of the manufacturers and developers there.
Michelle, of course.
Yeah, as well. So lots of people that are friends of the show. Go and say hi. And if you have Pro Synth Network merchandise, there's a brilliant way to do it. Go and wait and go and buy stuff and go and show it off at NAMM. That'd be fantastic. And hopefully our friend Andy Synth Addict will do some more carpet cam and buffet crampon videos from the show. And sometimes he dials in live, so maybe next week we'll have him live. We've got Robin Vincent coming up on the show in the next few weeks. I'm not entirely sure what date yet, but he's going to be coming on to talk all things Synth East, because that's like the first show here in the UK anyway, and it's going to be a great one this year. And we're going to be there, me and Peter, with some vintage synthesizers. Guys, have you got anything pressing this weekend, or are you putting your feet up or doing anything cool?
Feet up.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm done, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I say feet up. I'll be in here because I have the keyboarding bug and I'm messing around with things. I even bought some video editing software today.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Never owned videos. Well, I probably did on the PC 1,000 years ago when we used to do Lightwave, but...
Talk to me if you'd like a license for the Adobe stuff. We'll have a chat about that.
All right, darling.
Cool.
And talking of which, I'm going to be doing some editing this weekend for 2 different music projects. One is a friend's band. They want to get some more work for festivals, so we've got a multicam shoot of them, which I'm just sorting out. And then there's some green screen stuff that was done recently as well.
Nice.
For another band who are brilliant. So I'm going to be doing some of that over the weekend, which will be fun.
Sweet. Excellent. I've got
just
finish
to say to Wago, it was iMovie, Wags.
iMovie.
And the symptoms, yes. That is the reason I had to buy it. Your fault.
I've got a sound design project that I've got to finish up before the deadline, which I believe is Monday. So I've got to get that in. That's a really cool thing. I'm very excited about that one. What else have I got? I've got something turning up. I've got something turning up tomorrow. I'm not going to say what. I'll reserve that. Maybe if you watch the channel, if you subscribe to our Facebook page, you'll see what it is. I'm quite excited about it. I've also got to rent some storage space, because I've got to move all my stuff into secure storage to make some space for some e-drum kits that are coming in for review. So that's going to be fun and exciting. We might start the Pro Drum Network at some point. Who knows? And I'm going to get reacquainted with this lovely RM1X. Thank you, Adrian, again, if you're watching, who sold me this. He's a super cool guy doing some great work, apparently. I need to check him out, and maybe we'll get him on the show.
Yeah,
but thank you to you guys. Thank you also to everyone that's been watching, whether you stayed with us for the whole thing or whether you've dropped in just to say hi and bye because you're at work or you're on the lunch break. We love you coming in and mixing it with us and talking with everyone. We love the community, and we look forward to seeing you out and about.
And do a lot of liking.
Oh yeah,
all of you are here.
Also, don't forget,
it's always good.
Lots of other YouTubers you can go and watch. You can go and watch Synchrotron at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, doing 2 hours of droning. You can watch then at 1 p.m. UK time. Ranzi does his show. Then Jamie is back.
Yes.
Jamie Geosynths. He's going to be back on at, is it 6 or 7 o'clock on Sunday? And he's going to be doing a whole sound design show on the Alesis Fusion, which makes me happy and full of dread, shall I say, at the same time, because it brings back so many good and bad memories.
There's probably a Get Jarvis on there as well.
And there'll be Get Jarvis on jamming in Jim Jams with Jackson at 10 p.m. on a Sunday
I love that
evening.
cat.
Yeah,
I love that.
And then Rob is on Symptoms of Reality at 7.
Symptoms of Reality every day, slightly different times each day. But if you subscribe, that's the whole point of subscribing. Subscribe to this channel. You'll get the information as to when say 7 o'clock on Sunday. That's when I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Loads of great stuff. of course, Sonic State. Oh, actually, no Sonic State this coming week because they're at NAMM. And I don't think there's one afterwards. I think.
Am I right in thinking there may be, after something of a hiatus, a pub this weekend?
There is a pub tomorrow. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And it wasn't iMovie, it was something else, began with F.
Final Cut Pro?
No.
So it's not Premiere then?
Flim
Flam? No?
There was something begin with F anyway, and it cost $49 or whatever.
Okay.
Film Impact. No,
Yeah,
that's the plugins.
Flim or something. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Filmora.
Yeah, and I couldn't work it out, so I got iMovie instead, and that was free.
Yeah, well, iMovie's always free, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have covered everything. I'm always dreading the fact that we might have missed something or someone, but we haven't. I think we've got everything. We will see you same time, same place next week. We might have a guest, we might not. We don't know yet, but fingers crossed. We'll have lots to talk about because it's NAMM next week, and I will be absolutely shattered because we are all on standby as the news comes in. It's going to be a crazy week. So join us Friday and we'll discuss all the good stuff and the bad stuff and everything in between. But until then, have a fantastic weekend. Go and support all of our fellow community members, our synth shows around the world and around the globe. They all deserve your love. So go and give them a whole bunch of love. And we'll see you next Friday. Thank you very much. Take care.
Good morning.
Say bye, Lily.